Hello, everyone, and welcome to the August 11th edition of Apollo Office Hours. My name is Matt Johnson, and I'm a dev on this wonderful project. And to my left, I don't know where he sits on your screen, the amazing Caleb.
Say hello, the other Caleb. Human on the screen.
The other human, yes.
Thank you for joining.
Thanks for joining, everybody. So those of you who don't know who we are, the website link is up there on the stream. We are a crypto, basically a creator fund that's managed through a DAO. So every week we give away funding to creators to realize their dreams and passions through their projects or advancement in their craft. That's a start. We were actually just talking yesterday. We had a big, I don't like the word post-mortem. We had a review of our first several months of giving away funding to creators because we're always looking back. We're always reflecting on what can we do better. And, we really started to think about ourselves as a platform. And what does that mean for any kind of contest or any brand that wants to sponsor a contest to raise awareness and engagement and be financed through a self-sustaining system like a DAO. The possibilities we talked about in some of our social channels a lot are pretty endless here. So I love the beginning of this exploration, the Magellans, I guess you would say, of this exercise. But yeah, really exciting. So just want to talk about a couple things tonight. I don't know what you have on your agenda there, Caleb, but the most exciting thing happening this week, I think, is our All-Stars competition. How do you think it's going so far?
Pretty good. Last I looked, were we already at 110 votes?
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, the All-Star competition we had 12 weekly winners. So we'd run a contest each week. Approximately, I don't remember what the average is, but we give away about $10,000 worth of crypto each week.
The average was 11.5.
Oh, 11.5 of Apollo token. And we took the winners of each contest and put them in this 2-week long engagement, which we're only not even a week into so far.
Right.
So it's just gotten started, and we tripled kind of the main prize variables. So if you look on the voting site right now, that's a whopping number, man. 35,000 is the current. This updates as the price changes and the amount of tokens within the DAO, because every time a token is bought, sold, transferred, basically 1% of that transaction goes into this DAO to help fund these creators. So the more volume we get, the more tokens that get transferred. Obviously, as the market moves up and down, that dictates what the size of this prize is. But what's really exciting about that number, Caleb, is look how far to the left that green bar is. That's just opportunity, right?
Yep, it is.
So it says this bonus unlocks at 150 votes, and you said I think it says down here.
We're at 109.
109 votes. So for sure, with still over a week left, we're going to get to that threshold where it kicks in, and then depending on how many new voters we have in a ratio to total voters, will basically dictate that prize. But you can see there the prize could get up to close to $50,000 if all those conditions are met. So that's exciting. That's something incredible that could do a lot of good. I know a lot of the creators this week are coming up with amazing content and interesting ideas on how to, extend beyond just, hey, this is going to grow my craft, but how do I give back? How do I support other creators in their journey? I love that some of the creators that have already won have been kind of sponsors for, and they've done their own interviews and streams and things like that to support other creators. I mean, that's when we first started talking about this project, that was like the the meat of it, right? Is the idea of how do we create community between creators. And I'm seeing that happen, especially this week, and it's really exciting. Anything you want to add to all these anything about these amazing creators?
Man, there's 12. It's a lot, but they're all
Sure.
great. I would highly recommend diving into each of their profiles, looking at what they do, listening to some of their music, checking out their artworks, getting fit, and eating raw eggs. Whatever it is they show you how to,
Right.
they create and show you how to do.
So actually, you raised an interesting point that maybe you could talk about a little bit. In our meeting yesterday, we really talked about the profiles a little bit, and
Hmm.
how important that is, and some requirements that we might want to change for season two. You want to talk on that a little bit about why a profile is so important in what we're doing here?
Yeah, we really want the profiles of each creator to be top notch. Uh, because one, it reflects on who they are in their craft, but also it reflects what we expect in the contest and from creators. So that's definitely something we want to tighten up in season two when we get there, is like making sure that creators are prepared beforehand, before the contest starts. They have information on their profile. They have a video. We're talking about having a video is probably going to become a requirement, and then having links out to their socials as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think anything that a creator could do, and even like the style of the content, the ones I personally found most compelling are the ones that are really speaking to the community.
Hmm.
It's one thing to kind of put together a highlight reel and some clips of paintings or music or things like that, which are cool as well to see. But just like, tell us about you, tell us about your passion, tell us
Yeah.
about why you need funding, tell us about what you're going to do with it. Those are just some important components that we just want to lean into, upping our game across all fronts. In fact, I think for that meeting, I was looking at the spreadsheet from a minute ago, is some of them are higher priority than others, but we had 34 initiatives that we talked about
Hmm.
doing for season two, right? That's pretty crazy. We can talk about.
And I know, like, for creators getting into the contest, we are going to be sending out a creator guideline that'll help you get your profile together, what works really well, what maybe to avoid, and what we've seen throughout season one, and how that played into who got votes and who also won. Like, you can really tell whenever you look at somebody's profile the amount of effort that they put into it and the quality of their work, and then also how, after that, what do they do during the week of the contest? How do they engage the
For
community?
sure. Yeah, and I think later on top of that, something we talked about is just making sure everybody clearly understands the rules, which are with an evolving platform, very important in what we're doing here, especially with a voting app, which we try to address very quickly when we get information. We have several layers that we've talked about to be able to curb bad practices, and I think that continuing to evolve those. We're talking about looking at a new platform for that right now to kind of supplement or support the validation of individuals. This is stuff that's going on to the engineering stack, which is already quite full. But that's important to us, that we continue to listen to the community and hear about like what matters to them. And obviously safety and security is a big part of that too. So best practices that the creators get in that document to understand that this is why you have to follow these rules and why they're in place.
Right.
Cool. I just want to remind everyone, the main format for office hours is people asking questions. So throw your questions in the chat, and Caleb and I will be happy to answer them. Here in a few minutes when we get to that. Anything else really on the All Stars? Just to remind people, like, it goes through next week, and then we're going to have a break week. And during that break week, I'm pretty excited because these wonderful NFT proof of attendance POAPs that Caleb has created throughout the first season will start to come into play, as we're going to do a raffle to give away Apollo. Next week, I will announce how much Apollo that will be. So stand by for that. You know how we do things here. If you see those prize numbers, it's while we got to be fiscally conscious conservative, we also want to draw like opinions from the community about what do they need for voter rewards. And voter rewards is a very important thing on that list that I mentioned earlier for season 2. Like we already feel like we've checked the box with V1 with what we're going to do at the end of the season, but some ideas came up yesterday about what we might do on a weekly basis for a portion of those winnings to come back to people that have engaged in voting. So we're looking at, either a raffle type format with that, but longer term, if you hold your tokens, you vote, you create engagement with the community, you support the protocol, you share in a reward pool. So we've talked about that a couple of times. We're not really calling it staking for a couple of reasons moving forward. I mean, we want to wrap it around what we're doing with seasons now. And if you perform certain activities and engagement within the season, there's rewards for that season that come out of the overall prize pools. So that's kind of medium on our list. I think moving on, unless you had anything else for All-Stars you want to talk about, and throw the questions. If you got All-Star questions,
we still have about I don't know how many days, several days, 8 days or so. So remember that, we got plenty of time for creators to engage more and share and bring people in, as well as, if you're not ready to make your decision on who you want to vote for, take your time, check them out, check out each profile. Looks like we have a couple of questions around what we were talking about. Yeah, let me hit a couple of these as they're relevant to what we're talking about.
Sure.
Kale, quick question from Corey. Will there be POAPs for the voters of the All-Star contest? Yes, there will be a POAP for that one. Trying to make it extra special for the season finale. Another one, you can answer this one. Kale Morse asked if there will be a cap on the number of contestants each week, and what will that number be? Has it been decided?
Yeah, that's a great question. I was actually going to touch on that here in a minute, so I'll go ahead and kind of talk to that. Like what we liked from season 1 is kind of this 8 to 10. 12 gets a little unwieldy in my opinion, but I think what's more important to talk about is this design of the contestants queue that we're going to be managing starting in season 2. So trying to remember the rules off the top of my head, but basically it's going to give prioritization as new creators come in. They will be prioritized above returning creators in the queue, and then another priority stack will be when you enter the queue. So a new creator that entered the queue first is going to be prioritized. New creator that enter queues later will be prioritized above returning creators. And we just need like a fresh turnover in the idea that we're not going to balloon to be 15 to 20 people per contest, because we've gotten feedback from the community that's too much to absorb, too many people, too much going on. So that's kind of the first piece of news about contest structure for next season. And that will start right on the heels of that, the week that I mentioned with the POAP raffle. So not next week, then the week after will be the off week, and then we'll start the following week on season 2 immediately.
Awesome. Yeah, I think we kind of saw in contest number 12 that with having 12 candidates or contestants was a bit much, but we want to make sure everybody has a chance to get in if they want to. There's one more question on POAP raffle, so let's go ahead and hit that. Question around the scheduled week. Is it for the whole week? Will there be multiple winners? It sounds like Matt's going to now tell us that. So there's a couple of options: is how much is going to be given away and how many winners there can be. But as far as a time block, I'm going to open it up on a Monday and close it on a Friday. So you have all those days to enter. You just have to go connect your wallet on this POAP raffle, and it verifies you and puts you in. You won't have to come back every day or anything like that.
And remind me, that's if you have all 13, I guess now it will be, right? POAPs.
Mm-hmm.
Or will we be able to get the 13th?
I don't know that we're going to have the 13th one in, but we'll have the first 12. So each POAP counts as one entry into the raffle.
So if you haven't received, I think they expire, right? So the first
they do expire.
Have already expired.
They have,
but be sure to get the last ones in if you haven't done it already, because that each entry is a chance to win, right? So you got a big advantage against someone who just came into the project a few weeks ago.
Yep.
If you
And I believe I set the expiration for all of them at the end of August, so after the raffle. So you have time to get those, but they do expire all 12 before the end of August. So get them.
Cool. All right, so let's talk about a few more things about season 2 that I'm excited about. Turn this off here. All right. So mentioned kind of the caps. That was a good question that was brought up. We also heard several times through the course of season 1 that the 1 week turns were pretty tough. And I will admit, even on the core teams and design and Caleb and everything that we were doing, to be able to churn and burn content around those every week is quite a bit of challenge. So kind of stood back and said, well, what belief do we have that it has to be 1 week? If we give creators enough time to really bring their people into crypto, and we've seen that, through, this 2 week experiment here for All Stars, is that just better for everyone? Should we do that? But we want to make it, more interesting for all the creators involved, especially if there's longer times to wait. So we've done 2 things is what we decided that we'll launch with season 2. First is all the standard contests, which I'm calling just a generic contest like would have been running in season 1, will now be 2 weeks long. So we will run basically in season 2, which will run up through early December. There will be 4 contests, but we're gonna start giving away first, second, and third prizes. And I think that was another big thing that people were wanting. Is it's not winner take all now; it's winner take most, and it'll be a heavy percentage to the winner. But I think just looking at the data and looking at how much or how close a lot of them have been.
Yeah.
I think it just made a lot of sense to just say, look, if what we're trying to build here is a lot of engagement and a lot of growth with creators, it seems to be a right thing to do. And remember, we're early in seasons. We're learning. We're collecting information. There's a lot of data that will help us, but I think the team really likes that direction. And from what I've heard from the community, overwhelmingly, they like the idea of multiple places. So
Yep.
that's that kind of. Like I said, I'm only touching on like 3 or 4 of those 30 something things on for tonight. I want to kind of save some of this stuff, but 2 week contest cycles, first, second, third places, and then injected in between each of those 2 week cycles. As you guys know, Henox talked about it quite a bit. We're finalizing everything right now. Will be our first sponsor contest, which we think will be the model for some amazing things to come. So 2 weeks, then 3 rounds of center pre-qualifying competitions. And Caleb will, by the way, pretty soon have all this schedule stuff up on our main website that details out all this. And the cool thing about the center contest is, it's going to be centered around sneaker design. That's all I'll say right now. And, anyone who wants to apply for that, here in the next few days, will be able to fill out a registration form. But Center will pick the creators that it wants to put into that into those qualifying rounds. So they'll have 3 qualifying rounds and then a final or a championship.
Yeah,
that will come.
Center is the name of the business.
Sorry, yeah, Center is an urban apparel clothing brand that is sponsoring, I guess basically is the best way to put it, a contest centered around a specific creative art. And the details will be up on the website soon about that, but it will be open to all creators, and but they will handpick the ones, and it's their agreements with those creators that they'll put forward, because there's other incentives and prizes that will be announced alongside of that. So that's it. Season 2, 2 week cycles, 3 winners. But one more thing. People are asking, well, are we going to have a final then, or an all-stars at the end of season 2? Yes, we really like that. We like the hype that this last couple of weeks have built. But our thought is right now that instead of just having 4, we're going to invite all the placed winners to participate in that. So I think there's a good chance for people to get in and rock it out. in season 2. A lot more people.
I like that because, season 1, we ran 12 contests, got 12 winners. Season 2, we're only running 4 contests and 1 finale. But instead of just having 4 people in the finale, we're still going to have 12.
Yep.
And it's the second or third, the people that get second or third place, they get another shot to really hit it out of the ballpark.
Yep, you got it. All right. Well, I'm going to stop there. Anything else you wanted to add to that, Caleb? Oh, merch. Look at him. Pretty cool. You can't show something like that and then not tell people how to get it. So,
all right. Well, I'm about to pop that out to the public so that anybody can order stuff. Just testing it out to get the orders through, make sure it all works. And it's a little scary, whenever you turn on this machine that people are buying stuff and shipping stuff, and you start getting chargebacks. And if you've ever done e-commerce,
no one in our community would do a chargeback. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, you hope so.
Well, cool. Well, that's all I have. I think we should just dive into some questions and spend the next 10 minutes or so answering anything anyone's got. Let me take a look here. Omar. Omar is one of our creators this week in the finals. Very thoughtful to get second, third prize. Yeah, I think that's it's just a thing that as we saw everybody being so close throughout the year, it's kind of heartbreaking to do that and not feel like you come away with something that could at least be a support for the next step in that, or even the ability to kind of up your game for the next contest. Now, to be clear, in season 2 is once you win a contest, the DAO may have a vote on this at some point where we do it as we get bigger, but we're asking that creators not reapply if they've already won something. That's what we had the All-Star contest for them to come back and have another opportunity there. But we want to give new creators in season 2 as much priority as possible. So yeah, I think I agree with you, Omar. I feel like it's a great idea as well.
Speaking of community governance-based votes, do we want to mention coming up?
So real quick here, sponsorship. Yeah, that's really when you talk about building a sustainable long-term platform-based business is having something that brands can come to source amazing creative and social talent. That's the big picture thinking here. So I agree, Corey.
Yeah.
I think we're still learning. We're gonna figure out what we're doing right and wrong, but just a little tease. We've got 3 or 4 groups right now that are interested in partnering on a similar level to what we've seen already with the center deal. So, yeah, I think it's going to be big. I think that's really as we evolve this into something that's more supportive of all types of things, even beyond content creation or creativity. It's going to be a platform that people can fund great ideas with. So,
fund great ideas. I like that. I need to write that down.
All right. Yeah, so this kind of leans into what you were pointing out, Caleb. I think you were talking more about like governance and voting. So this past week, I went ahead and got the ENS and set up, our basic profile on Snapshot, and I feel like that's what we're probably going to use as a V1 to solicit, proposals and vote on kind of some key things moving into season 2 that the team can then, because the idea is like during season 2 we're going to be working on things for season 3. I mean, there's going to be just in time type stuff and things that go on during a season, and we have several of them already that are in process for season 2, but we'll continue through season 2. But bringing the community into both the side of voting, governance, and rewarding them from the DAO for work that they do on the project through a tool like DeWork. So Noah, who's moderates in our Discord, has been doing a lot of research on lots of projects that use DeWork. We have the basic, I think, template set up for that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Caleb. it's just getting like, what are the right tasks and what are the right things that people could do. So, I mean, as you've heard me talk, like the back half of the year, my incentive is like, what are voter rewards? What are community engagement rewards? You know, how do we bring the voters and the people that are participating in the community into the light of what they could do to help support this project to make it truly decentralized? I mean, that's the end goal for all of us here. And then, you know, even talking to Caleb yesterday in our meeting, you know, it's like creative wise, we've had some people like, hey, let me do the graphic for this or create stickers or do anything like that. I think the community is being underutilized right now, and they should share in, you know, the percentages that come off the DAO. You know, we're going to have a piece going out as rewards to voting. We're also going to have a piece going out of the DAO for people that are helping build against the protocol as well. So yeah, DeWork and Snapshot, that is a season 2 deliverable. So we will have both of those out in the coming weeks. You know, call it 3 to 4 weeks. I think we'll have our first. I'd like to have my first vote and our first distribution from DeWork in, you know, 3 to 4 weeks. So I just put myself on the spot, but I'll find a way to make it happen.
I'm gonna take a note of that.
All right.
I got y'all covered.
Awesome. So there's a question here just asking about the term staking. To me, it's more about wanting to move to voter rewards, because it's kind of a better descriptor of what we're doing. You know, are we at a point where we feel like we want people to, you know, lock up long-term their tokens and contracts and get in the whole business of that? I mean, there's other services that provide that. Everybody here knows that I like to take small steps first. And I think we've come up with some creative ways to monitor and manage, you know, people holding and having them share for the work that they do on the protocol and for the engagement with voting. That's very important that it's tied in to those two things, to share in a portion to be paid for that work. So that's what I'm calling voting rewards, because voting's activity. It could probably be genericized to protocol engagement awards. I don't know. That doesn't sound too sexy, but you know, the words are just one thing, but people that, you know, hold their tokens and provide value and service to the protocol, that's what we want to wrap the words around. And we only do it just as that's the right way to, you know, build a true decentralized community. Cool. Any other questions you see that you want to answer?
I think that was all of them.
Yeah, I just, you know, love the, you know, you guys have done a lot of work in setting up some of the Army stuff. I know a new batch of that is coming from our promotions and marketing group. They've done an amazing job with blog content and all the stuff I talked about, I think last week, about what marketing is. You know, pretty soon here, we're looking to do some big pushes to bring interested parties and traffic into the socials. I think that's really where the root effort starts to get people interested and engaged in the project, whether they're going to be a holder or whether they're going to be, you know, someone that just supports creators. I think that's a tactic that we're very focused on, as well as growing our numbers in Telegram and Discord and Twitter over the next 6 months as well.
A question came in
Yeah,
about new voters and whether we can make new voters worth more. Maybe you can explain how they are worth more.
Well, they are worth more in the bonus algorithm that kicks in. So, for example, this week, remember, there were, I think it was 150.
Mm-hmm.
So right here, this updates. Usually per week, we've been doing 50. We'll probably adjust those numbers in season 2, make sure that they make sense. But they do vote because the ratio of new voters to existing voters can essentially almost double the prize money. If you know, there's very rarely going to be a scenario where, let's say, you have 150 voters and all of them are new, which would be the outcome of a doubling of the prize. But still, could you get 60% new voters or 50% new voters and get 50% more value on the prize pool? Yeah, I think that's going to be very attainable. And that's the original vision of why we built it this way, is we really want these creators to be hustling and going out there and finding engaged the right voters, the right holders that care about creativity, that want to come in and support the protocol that way. So yeah, they do vote it, but again, drop it in the chat if you have ideas. We want people, coming up with solutions as well. And that's where DeWork will fit as well. In terms of here's how we solve tough problems. Everybody says, yeah, it's just voting. That's a pretty simple activity, or you get that. Man, let me tell you, it's not. Like, voting is a challenge on every front. Look at political systems and the challenges that they have. So we need the people coming up with ideas. Like, if you think, hey, this would create greater engagement, everybody knows what we're trying to do now. If this will create greater engagement or benefit the project more, throw the ideas out there. You're part of this team.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, a big question.
I'll take one more. A big one? Oh, gosh.
Oh.
I'll take one more question.
This wasn't that big, really. Most important question of the night: when contest page dark mode?
Oh, is this your answer? I can sit back now on this one.
Hey, here's the thing. I'm not the developer, so I'd have to get them involved on that. But I get it. Everybody wants dark mode. It kind of makes you official. It's like Facebook official when you have dark mode.
That's pretty funny. I do want to pick one more out here. Looks like Kyrie, who's one of our winning creators that's in it this week as well, is talking about something related to voting. And I'm not sure. We'll have to think through the ins and outs of, like, if a particular creator brings a voter in, what is the value count? But in terms of a referral system, that is something that's on the near-term docket as well. For we think we have a good way, reliable way, that if you bring someone into the project and they reference your public wallet address, that you brought them in, that there will be a bounty out of the DeWork system for that. So that's part of what's on that big list that I mentioned at the beginning of the stream. So referral fees is definitely something that's going to happen.
Is that referring? Are you referring to That's not the right word to use right now. To general users and holders, or are you talking about bringing a contestant into a contest?
I think it's going to be just general holders.
Okay.
I mean, I think there's maybe ways that we could scale that into the contest as well, but you got to tread pretty lightly on those kind of things. That anything that deals with, like, voting and awarding, that's a whole nother game. So we likely will test it out in terms of just a general, I brought this holder in, and holder and voter, I kind of use them synonymously. I live in this world where I'd love to believe that every holder votes, but obviously that's not true. We only have a fraction, and that's one of the big things that we need to work on, is getting more people engaged in the utility. But I think that's something that could be worked into the contest in some way. We just need to really sit down and brainstorm on it.
Love it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anything else before I get back to doing the things?
I think we covered just about everything.
The merge is going to go seamlessly. I heard you.
Ooh, yeah. Yes, the Ethereum merge has been set for September 15th and 16th. I wrote a little write-up on that in Telegram, if you don't know what that is, or you can go look it up.
Yeah. So,
the
brief of it is it's moving to a more, certainly energy efficient, but the proof of stake system to be able to validate transactions now, which basically penalizes miners or node owners or node holders. I don't know what you call them now, right? Because they're not really miners.
They're validators.
They're still solving equations. It's just that they're not. Everybody's not competing for them now.
It's not exactly like that. I don't know exactly the work done behind it, but it's staking. So the people who operate the nodes will be called validators.
Yeah.
But all that hardware, not necessarily.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure the validators still have to solve these equations. It's just not all of them are competing in solving lots of equations, which is all the energy consumption.
Okay.
But maybe that's my challenge, to learn that and bring it back to
Well,
this.
that's my challenge too. So I'll learn it.
Cool. All right. Well, we thank you everyone for joining. We'll be in the socials, but appreciate the Army big time, everything you guys do. Lots of exciting stuff coming. There's a lot to unpack in this AMA, I think, in terms of season 2, especially. But go out there and vote. Go get your people to vote. Go get other holders to vote. Go find new holders to vote. Love you guys, and we will talk to you all soon.